Oh, look who's here. It's Helen Vella. Helen, welcome to the Wow, Look Who's Here show. I'm so happy to have you here.
And I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Awesome.
I love it. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Helen. And we met, to have everybody dialed in here, we actually met doing another television show together. And we kind of lost track for a bit there. We reconnected and I'm like, I want to tell everybody what Helen is doing today. Not that it's very different. She's been doing what she does for a very long time. But I asked the audience to think, would you like to be well inside and up here without any pills or potions? Then Helen's your gal. And Helen, I would love for you to tell us a little bit about what that looks like and what that means to you, because you've had a lot of years putting into work in this and helping people in this space.
Thank you. I've dealt with a lot of people over the years. My name is Helen Vella, as Sherri just said, and I help people consciously become aware of their unconscious habits. So what we tend to do is we tend to go around the world acting, interacting, and reacting in a way unconsciously. So what I do is we react sometimes about something that is really insignificant, and we react over the top. This is all to do with blocked emotions in our system, blocked anger, blocked fear, blocked grief, blocked sadness. So what I do, and have developed lots of different techniques, is help people where these blockages are and release them. So if you ever get stomach issues or you get breathing issues, all these sorts of things can all be related to emotional blockages. The techniques that I use, I've been using for years and years and years, and they're not something I made up. They've been around since time began. Before medicines came in and before we started taking pills, we used to use herbs and all that sort of thing. So I use the same thing: meridian energy therapies, Reiki healing, neuro-linguistic programming, hypnosis. All these things all get to places where we consciously are not aware of that is going on, that our unconscious mind is storing up in our system, and we need to release it.
We actually, I think, tend to lean to that traditional Western medicine so hard. But the reality is, one of the things I like to point out is that, you know, your name of your business is Inner Healing with Helen. And that's really points at the true north, if you will, right? It's that inner healing. And that inner
Correct.
healing is what affects, right, everything that we do in life, whether it's our business, whether it's our job, our family, our relationships, all those things. I love that you use all those modalities, Helen. I have to ask, what's your favorite thing? Is there something that sort of sparks joy for you that you're like, oh, I get to do this with this person today?
Yeah, I love to teach emotional freedom techniques, and that's tapping. And I know a lot of people have heard about tapping, and it's an ancient art that's been around over 5,000 BC, like acupuncture without the needles. And it's so easy to teach other people. And so my job is to empower people, not to have them codependent on me forever. So they come to me, I teach them tools, and then they're empowered so that when things happen to them, they've got this tool. And emotional freedom techniques is one of the tools. And I even teach children. I've been teaching children from the ages of like 3 or 4 all the way through to seniors. And one of my granddaughters actually helped me do a workshop with a bunch of 6-year-olds, and she was 6, and she's been tapping since she was born, and she was helping me do this workshop. It was amazing. So emotional freedom techniques it was amazing. You know, it's an easy tool to use. It's so good, and it works on negative. So if you don't believe in it, if you're skeptical, if you're thinking this is a bit odd, it's fine, because the more negative you are, the better it works. So
That's awesome.
that's
I love that.
Yeah.
Real quick, Helen, I know you talked about the technique and stuff, but I would like you to back up a little bit and actually just explain what emotional freedom is and what that means to somebody.
So emotional freedom is where you have been storing up, say, sadness. So when we're very young, from age of born, we're getting sad about different things. So now we're in our 40s and we've built up a picture of sadness. this picture now is overflowing with sadness. And this is where you get the overreaction to a situation. So what the tapping does is empty the picture out so that you are letting go of the sadness. So if you can imagine, if you were to tap on sadness and you would tap on different points and you're tapping on sadness, you would release sadness in your body. So you'd start to empty the picture. But if you were tapping on sadness about my dog died, then you would release a bigger part of the picture because it was related to a specific event. So tapping generically on an emotion still helps, but tapping on being specific is even better. And that's where I come in, because 9 times out of 10, the individuals don't know what the specific is. So I help through questions and through exploring to get to a specific, and then we do the specific, and then we can empty the picture. Then I teach you the tool, and then thereafter, you keep the picture empty. So as soon as you start filling it up, you empty it out again. I love it. It's an amazing tool. Again, been around since 5000 BC.
Oh my gosh. And I think that's so interesting. But I think the thing that really sticks out to me is that I like the part where you really said that it doesn't make the person dependent on me, is that I'm empowering them to use the tool so that they can manage themselves. And I think that's a really important part, as we talked about, not leaning on pills or potions, which means that's leaning on something that's outside, that we are dependent on that. Not saying that there's not a time or place for those solutions if we are having some kind of difficulty. However, putting ourselves on that crutch, if you will, forever, that's not a solution. I guess that's the thing. And I like that you're actually empowering people to really take control and manage themselves and empower themselves in their own inner healing, not just you saying, well, you'll have to come to me forever, to, you know, that there's a finite thing where I'm going to learn this and should be able to manage it. Not that they would never need your services again, but let's talk about, what does your services look like? If somebody wants to work with you, Helen, what does that look like and what's the process?
Well, we start off with a discovery call and find out the metaphor that you would think you're coming to me for. And then once we get into specifics, then I have packages. So I do a minimum of 3 sessions, depending on what it is that the client wants to do. And then we go from there. So like I said, my sessions are very short. It's not like going to therapy where you're there for months and months, because I'm empowering you to overcome the challenge that you are going through. Once I'm able to empty the pictures out, get you to a good place, and you'll feel empowered to go out and do it by yourself, then my job is done. I have clients I've had for like 15, 20 years, and they come back at different times of their life, you know, that marriage, divorce, babies, death, all those sorts of things. They're all components of our life, so they come at different times. I have clients all over the world, so video is one of the best things to do it with. And I've done everything over video. I've done hypnosis. I've done past life regressions. I've done everything over video. It works. I've been doing this a long time.
That's amazing. And that you can do everything virtual is wonderful. You did say something that sparked a question in me. So do people come to you sometimes with one thing, but it's actually something else, and they just don't have that realization?
Yes.
And
short answer is yes. Long answer is always. But that's fine, because their perception is reality. So I go into their reality. I'm not there to judge. I'm not there to say that you're wrong or anything like that. We deal with your reality. And from that reality, we expand and get empowered and get into a good place.
That's awesome. So if somebody wants to find out whether they would work with you or wants to get to know you to see if it's a good fit for them, how would they do that, Helen?
Go to my website, innerhealingwithhelen.com, and you will see the different options. One of them is a discovery call, and you can just book it. Leads direct to my calendar, and you can just book it and we take it from there.
That's awesome. And you know what? I think it's such a needed service that you provide. And the different modalities, I think, is great in meeting people where they are, right? Everybody's at a different spot. And needs something different. And I love that you ask the questions to find that out, but also that you are really empowering people to take control of their own health, their emotional health, as well as their physical health, which we talked prior to being on camera are often or almost always related.
Always related, yeah.
That is another important thing. Sometimes I would guess that you see a lot of is that people have physical ailments from not healing the emotional, quote unquote, ailment.
Correct. Yes, exactly. Because we store anger in our liver, we store worry in our spleen, we store grief in our lungs. So yes, we do get physical issues with emotions that haven't been released.
It's such a fascinating topic and points that we are energy, and it's always moving and going somewhere and doing something. And we do have the ability to use that to heal us, which it's great to have a guide like you, Helen. And I do want to encourage people to visit innerhealingwithhelen.com and get to know Helen Vella. She is an amazing woman with a true gift who has helped people for so many years. And find out how she might be able to help you. Because you know what? When I hear about what you do, Helen, literally, I say, wow. That's the point of this whole show. Wow, look who's here. Wow, look what Helen Vella is doing and the difference that she's making in the world. And I think I can't say thank you enough for the impact that you're making in the world and the drive and the purpose that you have to serve others. That is one of the values of a WOW warrior. So I just want to say thank you so much, Helen, for being here today, but also for everything that you do to help make the world a better place.
Thank you so much for inviting me and giving this platform to share. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.